Today, we're honored to welcome Zack Dancel to the show today. I'm very excited to have him on. He is the one who has founded Nava Health. Now, this is basically a company that is dedicated to longevity and basically dedicating themselves to becoming the healthiest version of themselves. He has an amazing story that I'm excited to get into. What I would like to talk about today is purpose and legacy, right? Now, we all have things in our life that are struggle points. We all have things that we need to work on, things to get better at. And I find that once we have a solid foundation of who we are within ourselves and a strong direction, we can really take control of our lives and become of service to the world. And this man has a lot of insights into that, and we're getting to that today. So I'm very excited to have him on the show. How are you doing today, Zach?
Doing pretty well. I appreciate you having me on, and it's a pleasure to be here and just continue to spread the word.
100%, man. So I'm very curious to hear your story and how you got into health and wellness and, being a purpose-driven individual as well.
Yeah. So my story, I wouldn't say it's too exciting. It's not necessarily my story that what led me to Nava Health, which was founded by my family. But kind of going back, ever since I can remember, I was an athlete. I loved the game of football. Loved everything about it. Loved the day before, laying my clothes out, my jerseys, the prep, just like that jittery feeling that I would get before the game. And at a very early age, I knew that football was something that I wanted to do for as long as possible. So I had a very audacious dream, right? As little kids, 5, 6-year-olds, want to be an astronaut, want to be the president, want to be a doctor, want to be a professional athlete. Mine was to be a professional football player. I wanted to play in the NFL. And so at a very, very early age, I dedicated myself to that. Obviously the teachings that I learned from my mom, from my dad along the way of if it was something that I wanted to go after, I could accomplish those things. I was in control. It was all dependent on me and what I wanted to do and how I responded and what effort and sacrifices that I was willing to put in to get that. And so started training early, speed workouts, strength workouts. I played all sports, did wrestling, did basketball, did lacrosse, did track, but it was more so to just be versatile. But my sport was always football. So I dedicated myself to that. How I ate, how I rested, how I recovered. In Little League, it's just things that people weren't doing. And when I say our team, my Little League football team probably would have went down as one of the greatest of all time. I mean, I kid you not, for 6 years straight, went undefeated, won state championships in Maryland every year. And we were upset because we gave up either 7 or 14 points the whole season, right? So that's how just dominant we were in Little League. And just I loved the feeling of winning. But I also knew that I hated losing, right? I probably hate losing more than I love to win. So it was just one of those things that fueled the fire to make sure that we were doing everything that we could to make sure that we were the ones hosting up the trophy at the end of the year. So got the opportunity to get recruited to high school, played at a very prestigious high school in Maryland called Our Lady Good Counsel. Won 2 state championships there. Did enough to get recruited to get full ride scholarships to University of Maryland, where I played majority of my years. And then I finished my last year at Wake Forest University. Had the opportunity, got invited to Green Bay Packers for the rookie minicamp, went all the way out there. Things didn't work out. And I came back, and I could have kept training. Could have played overseas. I had a couple offers. But I had a very important decision to make and kind of take you back to the college days. My parents are my best friends. They came to every game. Didn't matter what the weather was like. They were there. They were my biggest fans, my biggest supporters. And halfway through college, my mom stops coming to all the games. She came to some, but I realized that she wasn't coming to as many as she used to. I'm a college kid, still, 19, 20, 21, so I wasn't thinking much about it. But I was curious. And so, come to find out, my mom started getting sick. And she went down the path that most people go down, right? When you get sick, you go see your doctor. Your doctor is supposed to be the healer, cure of all things. That's what they went to school to do. They're going to fix it. And going through that process, we quickly saw the gaps that were in traditional modern day medicine. Shorter visits, 7 to 10 minutes, right? Didn't truly have time to ask or really get to know what was going on with my mom. Didn't do any root cause diagnostics, didn't do comprehensive testing, didn't ask her about nutrition, diet, sleep, stress management, her exercise, all things that play a huge, critical part in our health. But did ask what her symptoms were, was able to quickly pull out the prescription pad and write a prescription based off of symptoms that she provided, which, symptoms that could be from anything, but there was a medication apparently for it. So my mom started going down that path and wasn't getting any better. So we saw a different specialist. Same thing, shorter visits, no diagnostics, next prescription. She wasn't getting any better. If in fact, she was getting worse. So we saw a different specialist and a different specialist and a different specialist. And mind you, we lived in Maryland. So we're surrounded by some of the top hospital systems in the world. Johns Hopkins being one of them, right? People fly all over the world to see specialists at this hospital. So my mom had access to that level of care, yet they couldn't figure it out. They didn't know what was going on. And it got to a point where my mom was bedridden. She was stuck in bed. She, had no energy, was in constant excruciating pain, and just couldn't operate anymore. And the doctors were like, we don't know what's wrong, but we can make her comfortable. And that's kind of, where things kind of flipped around for my dad and my family. My dad took my mom's health into his own hands. He basically gave these doctors the middle finger. Like, this is my wife that you're talking about, right? Like, what do you mean you don't know what's going on? Like, this is your job. This is what you're supposed to do. You're going to sit here and tell me that you've done everything that you could to figure this out? And so he took it in his own hands to go out and find specialists, to find different healing modalities, to find something that would give us hope that, my mom wasn't sitting here on her deathbed. Over the course of that time, my dad came across a functional medicine provider who did things so differently. Like, it was a complete eye-opener to us where everything kind of changed because it all made sense as to what this provider was doing to find what was going on with my mom. Visits weren't 7 to 10 minutes. Visits on average were 30, 60 minutes long, where they truly had enough time to get to know who my mom was as an individual, how she operated, what made her tick, what was causing these symptoms, conditions, based off of her lifestyle factors, right? Diet, sleep, exercise, stress management, medications that she might be on, supplements that she might be taking. But even with all that, she said, before I make any recommendations, I'm still not going to make recommendations, even though I have all this information, and I could probably give a good educated guess because she's been doing this for so long. We're going to go searching for more data. I'm going to send you to get comprehensive labs. Not just your CBC, CMP, where we're just looking at, your complete blood count, your liver, kidney function. Maybe they run a hemoglobin A1C. Maybe they run a lipid panel. Or an insulin marker, but nothing as extensive as this provider did, right? She ran a full sex hormone panel, right? My mom, obviously she's a woman, ran testosterone. Most women don't know or have ever had the, testosterone tested in them. Testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, a full thyroid panel. Most primary care is modern day medicine. They're just going to run TSH. No, this doctor ran reverse T3, free T4, TSH, thyroid antibodies. All the metabolic markers, inflammation markers, lipid panel, insulin, hemoglobin A1C, nutrient deficiencies. And we're sitting here like, wow, like this is a lot of information. But it makes complete sense. Like this doctor's sitting here collecting all this data before making any recommendations. It's just how we run our business, right? Before we make any decisions, any recommendations on how we run a business, not even just talking about the medical part, but how we run a business, we're doing that based off of data. We're making data-driven decisions. Data is what's going to tell us to go left or to go right, right? And so this doctor went down that path, and finally we got the results back, met with my mom, and this doctor was able to say, I know what's wrong. I can help. You know, talk to her about the different autoimmune diseases that she had that was basically shutting her body down. Her immune system could no longer properly function and fend off any of these things because of how depleted my mom was, and what the different medications that these specialists were putting on were just putting her in a more depleted state. So she made certain recommendations, you know, very holistic, natural, bioidentical, balance her hormones, optimize her thyroid, put her on IV therapy, hyperbaric therapy, changed her diet, changed how she slept, changed how she exercised, changed how she managed stress. And slowly but surely, my mom started getting better and better and better to where, fast forward today, 15 years later, my mom's still here today, right? She's not stuck in bed. She has the energy to watch my 3 little ones that are 7, 4, and 2 that have all the energy in the world. My mom can do that now because of functional medicine. Functional medicine saved my mom's life. And when we saw that happen, we were like, well, why isn't this everywhere? Why isn't this just the first line of defense when it comes to treating, healing, being preventative, being proactive in our health? Why is the system built backwards where we're only going to the doctor after we get sick? When we know that most of these chronic diseases that are plaguing the nation can be prevented, 80 to 90% of them can be prevented through very simplistic lifestyle behavior changes. Yes, you can add in the different biohacks, longevity trends, the optimization interventions to enhance your well-being. But why isn't this the first thing that, like, why wasn't this discussed in the first visit? Why wasn't this what the primary care doctor said? Why isn't this just the way that we're all living? And, you know, obviously, there's a lot of speculation, conspiracy theory that the current system doesn't want it that way, right? There's not money in it for them. There's not enough profit off of healthy individuals that don't need to go in to see the doctor, that don't need very expensive procedures, that don't need to be on a medication for the rest of their life, right? The big insurance companies, big pharma, they're making more and more profits every single year. If you look at the U.S., you know, health statistics, we're getting sicker and sicker and sicker. So clearly, their system isn't benefiting our well-being, our health, right? So to them, because most of them are publicly traded companies, they have a fiduciary responsibility to their investors to give people a return on their investment. If they don't, they'll get sued, right? They'll have to be put into litigation. They'll have to spend all this money on lawyers, and then they start kind of, taking away from their profit. So that's kind of when everything changed for us. We decided that we wanted to go out there and change the face of medicine, give people the opportunity to have answers that have been gaslit all these years, have told them, oh, this is normal, just take this medication. Oh, this is normal with age, here's a pill for that. Here's a pill for your ill. So we wanted to create a space where, no, you don't have to do any of that. No, yes, sure, you having less energy as you age is normal, but that doesn't have to be where you stay. We can do things. We can implement interventions that can give you that energy back. You can feel great. You can feel like you're in your prime again. So, you know, we kind of first started off creating Nava to be people, to help people like my mom who are dealing with chronic issues and disease. But then we quickly realized, like, this medicine isn't just for chronically ill people. This type of medicine is for everybody. Healthy individuals, young, old, middle-aged, it doesn't matter. Because this is just how we should be going about life if we truly do want to live our longest, healthiest life. We should be talking about these things. We should be doing consistent lab work, monitoring where our levels are at. Because the second something starts to deplete, that's a sign for us saying, hey, we need to do something here. We need to prevent this from getting worse, because what happens when we're metabolically unhealthy, well, then you're going to have more inflammation. You're going to have more weight. When you have more weight, you're going to have more inflammation. When you have more inflammation, eventually disease is going to come. But we have the tools and the ability to prevent all that. At least slow it down, right? Slowing it down is still giving you that extension of life. So 15 years or 12 years ago, we opened up our doors in Columbia, Maryland, to the masses, right? Our goal was never to just be one stop, one clinic. Our goal was to go out there and help as many people as possible. So today we have 4 brick and mortars. We do telemedicine in 15 states. And this year, 2026, is the year that we are really going to make the push to expand nationally. We're going to have more brick and mortars. We're going to do more telemedicine. We're going to be doing more than just what we're doing in our clinics today. And I'm happy to go what we do in our clinics today and what that process looks like. But when I say we're going to be doing more and having more verticals, we're creating a whole longevity ecosystem, right? It's not just about the medicine that we practice in our clinics. We're also going to talk about biologic dentistry. We're also going to talk about how fitness plays a part in our longevity to really bring all the pieces together. So back to me, when I'm making that decision, whether it's time for me to hang up the cleats and go drive this mission with my family, or do I keep playing? And when I got back home from Green Bay, it was a very easy decision for me to make. I have no regrets on making that decision. Yes, I loved football. I dedicated my life to the game, and I give football everything. Right? It taught me everything that I know, how I operate, how I lead, how I manage my team, my family. It was my life's greatest teacher. But at that time, I had a different calling. I wanted to go help build the company that saved my mom's life to help save others and make a much larger impact that I could ever make playing the game of football.
I love it, man. It's such an incredible story. Thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, there's so much things we talk about within there, but it really sounds like that pivot point where functional medicine really kind of saved your mom in a sense. And that was like, hey, this is like what I want to do with the rest of my life in a sense. This is like the purpose and the calling. That's what we're doing today. So it's incredible, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, because as you mentioned, like, doctors, they mean well, but they don't necessarily have the tools or the training to actually deal with chronic disease. But, we do all this information and you actually make a conscious decision based off of all this data. So it's like very important to understand that. So we actually have an accurate assessment of what's going on too.
Yeah. No, I mean, to your point, right? There's a time and place for traditional medicine. And I'm not saying that it's useless, but it's certainly not there for our vitality. It's not there for our long-term health. It is great. What I talk to a lot of people about, our clients, our staff is, consider traditional medicine or consider your insurance, because let's talk about insurance. Consider your insurance, because everyone pays thousands of dollars for this medical coverage. They think that, they should be using it to cover all of their medical needs. Unfortunately, that's not what insurance is there for. And so we have to do a lot of education and reframing of what medical insurance is for. And I think the easiest way to put it is that medical insurance you want to view like car insurance, right? It's there for an emergency. It's there if you get in an accident. It's there for a cracked windshield that obviously you had no control over, that rock picked up and hit you. That's like your medical insurance. It's there for an emergency. It is there for an acute care. It's there for a surgery. It's there for a broken bone. But your car insurance doesn't pay for your routine maintenance. It doesn't pay for your oil changes. It doesn't pay for your tire rotations, right? You do that. Why do we do that? Well, we do that because that's what's going to give our car the healthiest lifespan that we can possibly get out of it. Because if we don't, then it's just going to break down. Well, it's the same thing with our bodies, right? If we don't do the routine maintenance, if we don't do the tire rotation, if we're not doing the oil changes that insurance isn't going to cover, it's only a matter of time until our bodies break down. And so we have to do a lot of that reframing because, we've been so used to, the way that it's been, but, our bodies are raising the flag. They're ringing the alarm saying, hey, something is wrong. I need help. And it's not going to be some magic pill that's going to solve the problem, right? It's going to be true, data-driven, root cause, personalized medicine that isn't necessarily a prescription, right? We don't have to make this a super complex thing. Like, yes, we could do hormone optimization. We could do peptide therapy. We could utilize GLPs to help, with metabolic health. We could do very precision nutraceuticals or expensive stem cell treatments. Those are great. I think those are great for optimization. But if you don't want to spend a lot of money and you want to see the difference of this type of medicine, all you have to do is start with a blood panel, right? Not just a small blood panel, but a comprehensive blood panel where we're going to get a full look, 80, 90, 100 different biomarkers of your complete biology, a snapshot of where your health is today. And just based off that, we can make interventions, the different foods that we're going to eat, how you should be exercising, right? And it's not just Pilates. It's not just cardio. There needs to be a huge emphasis on strength training, right? Lean muscle mass is our metabolic sink, right? We can, dispose of glucose there and as well as just have the muscle and the strength to function throughout the day. It does obviously so much more than that. It helps, give our energy. It helps, our brain function as we are doing more strength training because of the different mechanisms that are happening when you're building muscle. But, it's also not just about strength training. It's about having variety, right? Variety, I think, is key when it comes to exercise. Don't just do one thing, mix it up. That is huge, right? Your sleep is sacred, right? Sleep is everything. You should be going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time, targeting for 7 to 9 hours a night. Your life will change overnight if you can make sure that you can continuously hit those markers. And then how we manage stress. People think that stress is no big deal. Oh, I can just fight through it. But no, stress can literally kill us. Stress will cause all types of hormone imbalances and fluctuations between cortisol, your DHEA, your ghrelin and leptin, it just everything. It'll just cause a complete wreck. So I think people need to take that a little bit more seriously, right? If your nervous system is constantly upregulated and is constantly in fight or flight, your body is in a state where it's constantly thinking that it's being chased by a bear. Now that you honestly can't sit here and say, if you're constantly in that state, even when you're laying in bed, that is healthy for you, right? Your body is constantly in fear. It is constantly in panic. When does it get to rest? When does it get to downregulate? So starting with that simple blood panel can tell us all these things, how we can change these different lifestyle factors. And just those lifestyle factors are a huge difference. Like that is the foundation. Like those are the non-negotiables. If you don't have those locked in, the hormones that you're on, the peptides that you're on, the supplements that you're on are only going to get you so far, right? If you truly want to get the most out of those treatments, out of those interventions, and you don't want to be upset or worried about wasting money on them, you have to make sure your foundational pillars, which I'm going to keep saying them, are your nutrition, your exercise, your sleep, and stress management. I'm going to throw a fifth one, your community. I think community is huge. If those 5 key pillars aren't locked in and you aren't working on those, you're not going to get the most out of those treatments. Now, I do think some of those treatments, my favorite of all is hormone optimization. I think that is one of the best and most important longevity molecules on the planet. Not saying that everybody should be on them, but everyone who is clinically indicated, I think, should be on them. Hormones are in every cell of our body. Hormones are absolutely needed for us to function. It does way more than just sex and libido and muscle, right? Helps with your brain, helps with your heart, helps with your immune system, helps with your energy. Literally everything in your body, hormones play a huge part in. So, that's kind of like our take on it, right? We're very comprehensive. We're looking at the whole body. We don't just think that one treatment or one area is what everybody should be doing. We think we should be focusing on the full picture, right? It's not one or the other. It's everything. And that's just the full circle, full encompassing picture and view that we take when it comes to helping our clients and patients feel their best, whether they're dealing with a chronic issue or if they want to be that proactive, preventative person, which I think we should all be. Now that I'm a father of 3, there is nothing that I will not do to better myself, my health, for those 3 little kids. I want to be here for as long as possible. I want to see them graduate. I want to see them get married. I want to see them raise their kids. I want to be a part of their kids' life. Because at the end of the day, what are we doing all this for? For me, it's my kids. They will always be my greatest achievement. Everything else, it's just stuff.
100%, man. I love it. I mean, you mentioned like so many of us, we are looking for this immediate gratification or these quick fixes, right? And as you mentioned, it really comes down to mastering the fundamentals. And that's what it's all about. Like, we have to give our biology what it requires at the end of the day because we're designed to be well. And oftentimes we have to get out of the way. And it's a lot more difficult in today's world because so many different conditions are stacked against us, right? So glad you're doing what you do for sure.
Yeah.
Also, something that stuck out to me in the beginning is like, man, you just love winning, right? It's like, I think that's such an important thing to understand. We have to not just win in certain things, but we have to win in our lives. Like, we have to win in our health, our relationships, our wealth, our like everything, right? It's like about becoming the greatest version of you, right? And learning how to win is so key. So that really stuck out to me as well. It's just something like a general principle in life, like learn how to win. It's like really important.
No, I 100% agree, right? Everyone should be shooting to win. Whatever that win looks like, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that everyone needs to be shooting to be the healthiest person on the whole entire planet, right? Because there's other people out there that are going to do that, right? You might have other priorities. You might have other things that you want to focus on or win on, or you don't want to, just put your effort, all your eggs in one basket. But everything that we should do in life, we should be competitive with ourselves, right? We should be targeting to shoot to be the best version of ourselves, to be the healthiest version, to be the greatest parent, to be the greatest friend, to be the greatest boss or leader of our company. Not to say that you're going to win all the time, right? Losses and you're going to take some losses. It's just a part of life. Adversity is something that's promised to us all. I promise you, you're going to overcome adversity. But it's not to say that you should just turn away from it, right? How do you overcome that adversity? How do you go around the obstacle? How do you solve that, right? Through adversity is when character is built, and truly who will become on the other side is going to be the greatest version of you. So I think it's important that we keep going after it, right? We keep waking up every day to try to be a better version than we were the day before. You know, it's the simple mindset of just waking up, try to get 1% better every single day, right? That's it. I'm not saying that you have to go from 0 to 100. Now, some people might, and they might do that, but just 1% better than you were the day before, right? What is that? Is it being a father? Is it being a spouse? Is it being a friend? Is it being the better version of yourself, right? In the gym, whatever it might be. Constantly strive to becoming the better version of yourself. Don't stay stagnant, right? That's what's happened with the modern medical system, right? Everyone's settled for average. Well, who wants to be average? Average is the enemy. Average, if you're not moving forward, right, you're falling behind. If you're staying average, you're just falling behind because other people are constantly out there trying to get that next thing, right? They're trying to improve themselves. They're trying to become better. So I think it's just something that we should all have in us. We should all have that fire to go out there to just be a better version of ourselves. Go out there and win. You know, my mindset is just, I wake up and I tell myself these 5 affirmations every day that I think that self-talk is a huge thing, right? By doing this. So I wake up and I tell myself, you know, today's a great day to have a great day. I'm a winner. I can do anything I put my mind to. I'm the best. I'm built for this, and today is my day, right? Just those 5 things. I start off by telling myself that, and I say them out loud, say it in the mirror, and it's one of those things. If you're constantly saying it, right, you're going to slowly start seeing and catching yourselves in acts of greatness, in acts of trying to become better, right? If you're saying it, you got to say it with some conviction. You got to believe it. Eventually, that's just who you become. That's the environment that you create and surround yourself in, the people that you surround yourself in. And it's just one of those things. Again, it's just continuous improvement. Constantly trying to climb the Mount Everest or the next peak. But once you get to the top, my mindset is, all right, well, what's the next one that we're climbing, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's just one of those things. We just got to keep going. Like, we get one life. Life
Right,
is
man.
amazing. Why would we go out there and settle for average?
Exactly.
It makes no sense. I'm going to go out there and do everything I can to the maximum, right? I'm going to be the best version of myself, and I'm going to keep going back to it. I want to be the best father. I want to be the best husband, you know, because that's what they deserve. And I hope that one day, you know, they give that back to me. You know, they want to be the best kids. They want to be the best wife, because that's just the culture and the standard that you're setting for yourself. And when you do that, the people around you, right, they're impacted, they're affected by it, and they're also trying to become better versions of themselves.
I love it, man. Yeah. You talk a lot about purpose and legacy as well, right? It's basically cultivating these traits within ourselves. And like we've been talking about, becoming the greatest version of you, not only for that, because it's going to be of maximum service as well, right? It's like becoming a light and model for what is possible. And to understand these concepts and being able to live them out is so key. So do you want to get into that and how we can kind of think about these things, be more aware of them in our own lives?
Yeah. You know, to me, legacy is impact, right? Legacy is going to be something that is around far beyond, you know, your years here on Earth. But that legacy is something that creates that change, right? Creates a difference in someone's life, whether it's influence, whether it's leadership, where you yourself, like, you had the ability to change someone's perspective, right? To want to go out there, to hit the gym, right? To change their diet, to become the greatest version of themselves, to become what we keep talking about, to become winners, to become the healthiest, the version of themselves so that they can be present for their kids, their friends, their families, and themselves. But you can't do that by sitting on the couch, right? That legacy you have to go out there and you have to earn it, right? Nothing is given to us. and it should be going at, you should go, that should be, not many people sit there and kind of talk about or think about what is my purpose, what's my why, and what is the legacy that I want to be remembered by. Right. So, that's kind of one of the things I want to give to your viewers and listeners is to think about that. Right. Write that down. What is it that's your purpose, your why? Like, what drives you? What wakes you up every day to go to the gym or to eat healthier or to go to your work? Like, what is the why? What keeps you going? And that why could be slightly different to what your purpose is. What's your calling? For me, I keep talking about it. My purpose and my why is my family. They're everything, right? I don't need anything else in the world. As long as I have them, I'm good, right? Everything I do is for them. The reason why I'm so adamant about taking care of myself, my body, is so that I could be the best version of myself when it is time for me to stop working and go play with my kids. When it's time for me to go, take them to the pool, to take them to the beach, right? I want to have the ability to run around with them. I want to have the ability to play football with them. Like, I get to play football with my son right now. I think it's the coolest thing ever. That this game that I love so much that was my whole life, I now get to play with my kid. And hopefully my youngest too, he's starting to get to the point where he wants to play catch and pick up the football and tries to throw. Not there yet, but my 4-year-old, the man can catch, he's got an arm, he can run. It's funny when he does the gritty, the celebration when he catches a ball. It's funny, but going back to the legacy, right? Like, what's the legacy that you want to leave behind? What is the impact that you're going to make on the people around you? And for me, right, my legacy is to be someone who never gave up, who always chased his dreams, who inspired others to go after what they wanted to do in life, to capture what's theirs, and gave people a whole new meaning of what life really meant because we had the ability to live this healthier and longer life, to be more present, to be there much longer than what the average lifespan is today.
Yeah. I love it, man. 100%. It's like we have to find these things within ourselves, right? Knowing what type of impact you want to make. I feel like the foundation of these things are growth and service, right? Really not just leaving like things for the world, but actually leaving character traits within people in a sense. Like being able to, be there and be a model for what is possible, right? We can't really do that if we're not taking care of ourselves and being of service and all these things, right? So we actually have to have an altruistic mindset as well. Like we have to care and want to see people win. Like we want to be uplifting and have this positive energy around us because, our energy is going to influence people one way or another, right? So we have to kind of take care of that as we go along.
Can you ask that again?
Yeah, so I'm just saying like we have to basically take care of our energy in a sense so we can actually take control of how we show up for people, like showing up and, being of service and all these things. It's not about being perfect at all. It's about progress. And we have to understand that we have to build that forward momentum every single day. And, setbacks may happen, but we just got to keep on going and keep that mission on top of mind for sure.
Yeah, no, it's the whole chasing perfection, but knowing that you'll never capture it, right? I am a perfectionist. At least I try to be. I strive to be. Very OCD about things being a certain way and being perfect because how you do anything is how you do everything, right? And I want to make sure the way that I do things is out of love, out of passion, out of a place that showed that like I truly care. Right? Like I really want people to know that I truly care and want what's best for them, right? Like I want everybody to win, right? want everyone to have the ability to live a life free of disease, right? To have the energy, to have the answers when they want them, right? At the end of the day, they gotta want them. But also, people have to also understand is that they have to go out and do the work, right? It's not just
Right.
going to happen, right? There's something that you have to, make a decision on and really go out there and make a change for yourself. If you want change in your life, you have to be the one to make that change. And it goes to health, right? We have to tell our clients all the time, like, there is no magic pill. What we need to do in terms of changing your health around, if someone's chronically ill or someone just who has no clue, it's going to be hard work. It's going to take time, right? The health is not a simple fix. There isn't a simple fix, and that's what's wrong with the system today, right? They think that the pill is just going to fix something. Well, it doesn't. It's a band-aid that you put over a symptom. It's not truly curing or healing or treating anything at the root cause of it. So you have to put the work in. Whether it's your health, your relationships, your career, you have to go out there and earn that. You have to put the time and effort. You have to put the sacrifice. Because if you don't, who's going to do it? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Like, you have to make that decision yourself. How bad do you really want it? The things that you say you want to accomplish in life. If you want them that bad, make the decision and go do it. Doesn't matter how bad you feel. It doesn't matter when you wake up in the morning and you're not motivated to go to the gym. You got to do it anyways. Do it on Monday, do it on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you keep doing it. And you keep doing it until it becomes just who you are in nature, who you are as a habit, and eventually that reward pays off. It's one of the things that I think, like fitness, you can't fake fitness, right? Fitness doesn't lie. You put in the work, you get a result. If you're not putting in the work, you can't expect to have a six pack. You can't expect to be in shape. You can't expect to be able to go on a run and not get winded. No, you have to build up for those things. You have to put the work in to do that. And yes, as we age, there's certain things that people have to be aware, like if they are going to the gym and they are trying to lose weight, right? As we age, there's a lot that starts to happen with our health that we need to monitor. So that's kind of like where Nava Health comes into place, right? Where we're going to help you, right? We're going to help optimize your biology so when you do go to the gym, you are able to lose that weight.
Definitely, man. It's like taking 100% responsibility for everything in our lives is key, right? Not to say that everything is our fault, but that means we get to decide what happens next. That's what responsibility is. It's okay, this thing happened. Now I get to decide what happens next. Like focusing all of our energy towards our actions is the key, right? Because that's all we can do is control what we can and understand that the obstacle is the way in many senses of the word. We have to understand that the power's in our hands. It's not the external circumstance. So we have to understand that as long as you kind of manage yourself within the circumstances, that's all you can do. And you just kind of move along within that and choose to be empowered instead of disempowered.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Right, your legacy isn't written at the end, right? It's written in every decision that you made when no one was watching, when the lights were off, when the stadium was empty, whenever that was, right? Your legacy is being written every single day. It's not just written at the end, at your funeral. It's something that who you are. What's the standard that you're setting? That's something that you have to start doing now.
Absolutely. It's so important to understand it's right now. It's not in the future. Like all you have is right now. The future doesn't exist necessarily in the nearest past. All we have is right now. And when it does happen, and when it happens right now, everything is experienced right now. So again, we have to own this moment, not about being perfect, but doing what you can and kind of accepting the things you cannot change and focusing your energy towards your actions, right? And just getting better as you go. And it's about trusting the process as well. It's not about like saying like, this is the way it has to be or anything like that. It's about owning this moment. And most people they're not in the moment. They're distracted, unfortunately.
I 100% agree. Um, it's everyone's distracted. Everyone's got a lot going on. But it's one of those things, right? It's life is hard. It's hard to be healthy, but it's also hard to be sick, right? You can either have a you can either choose the easy path now for a hard path later, or the hard path now for an easy path later, right? What you're willing to give up now to sacrifice later is what it's going to be, right? When it comes to health, you can make the decisions to change your lifestyle and really prioritize your health right now so that you can have a much longer, healthier life free of disease.
Yeah.
Or you cannot care so much, right? You want to enjoy the moment now, right? You want to live life right now. You don't want to care about any of those things until down the road. And then you get hit with the disease and illness that, it'll be much harder then. And so everyone has to make their decisions. Life is hard, whichever decision that you choose. So what hard do you want to choose?
Definitely. I'd much rather do the hard thing now and get the results I want in life, right? Because, discipline equals freedom, right? It's not about just doing whatever that you want. It's about really putting in the habits, the mindsets, and the ways of being to get the results that you want. And it's about understanding, like, I feel like personally it's a lot harder to do the average thing and not get results you want in life. It's a lot harder to not live up to your full potential. It's like, man, it's a totally another way of being once you're on your path and on your purpose, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Zach, this has been awesome, man. I really appreciate you today for coming on the show, sharing your story with us, and all your insights about health and wellness, and how it's not just something that is out of our hands. It's actually very much within our hands, and we can gain more knowledge through testing and put those actions into play through our lifestyle, right? And beyond that, living a life of full vibrancy with purpose and legacy. Because purpose, it's about growth and service, and ultimately it's about becoming the greatest version of you, right? So you can do whatever you're here to do for the world, make the world a better place in every way you can. Legacy, it's about understanding that it's about how you impact people around you and really being a light and model for what is possible, right? There's so many different insights that we can take on and really start to contemplate within ourselves. Get beyond that and do whatever we can, do whatever it takes to make your dreams a reality. That's what it's all about. So again, man, it's been an honor, and I appreciate you so much.
No, thanks for having me. It's been great.
Yeah, if people would like to get connected with you and all your work, where can we go?
Yeah, so if you want to know more about what we're doing at Nava, you can go to navacenter.com. Talks all about what we do, what functional longevity medicine is, all the different awesome treatments, testing, supplements, lifestyle behavior changes that we have to offer, and how we can guide you on this journey of longevity. Or if you just want more insights, more information, you can follow me at Zack Dancel on all social medias, or you can find us at Nava Health on social media as well.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.